AI is the new IT, and what I mean by that is that things that we used to talk, broadly speaking, that had to do with information technology, IT, automation, now get subsumed with AI.
So we can say that artificial intelligence is changing and shows a lot of potential, I would say, in every single step in the global value chain of any company.
AI stuff is really, really good at high data volume actions that are very tactical in nature. And I don't mean to put that down, because if executed well, it really can lift profitability, okay? But I don't see long-run position changes emerge from that help a company. My one sort of quote proof, it's not a proof, but it's an anecdote along similar lines. The barcode data that it's on all of our consumer products. That was a revolution at the time, which massively shifted advertising budgets towards sales promotion. Why? Because with the scanner data, you could measure exactly how the promotion impacted sales. If you then look at, well, where is the evidence on what creates long-term value for the firm? Customer asset building and brand asset building. And that requires that holistic view, which so far I have never seen a computer build a brand.
There is no doubt in my mind, if you don't invest in that technology that is today available, you'll be gone.
There are 4 areas, it strikes me immediately, in which the way that companies operate and what they do may be changing now. One area is what they make. The second area, I think, is how you make things, how you operate, who you work with, so who you find to be your suppliers, and how you form alliances with other firms that may have expertise in this area. And then finally, and probably the most important, how the people in your organization work and how you manage them and how you get them to think about doing different things.
So the key challenge, once again, is the transformation process. In companies, we basically do things: projects and processes. Processes are going to become algorithms.
Data for us is becoming an asset. It's not just that it's great to have data because you can extract information from it. It's that data is valuable. It's almost as valuable as your brand.
We do have to teach people how to use data. We don't have to teach people how to do machine learning, right? Our MBA general manager folks, they're not going to be doing machine learning. They're going to be overseeing people who do it.
Recently, since we've found out that data and AI is becoming critically important to all of our different business units, you need to educate top management on what a good question is. What are the questions that you should ask to these strange people that you've just hired? Because if they are not going to ask the right questions, again, they're probably not going to have a large impact.
It turns out that, of course, that in such a world, the premium goes to the company that is able to, in fact, cut short that kind of analysis paralysis problem and be decisive. Decisiveness wins out over building the perfect model. And the linked argument I would make is that too much information, particularly of a particular kind of cognitive, rational, quantitative type, runs the risk of creating a very sterile decision environment where we focus too much on the numbers. And it actually then puts a premium, paradoxically, on human emotion, on emotional conviction, the ability to actually tap into and understand some of those things which you cannot quantify.
It's not artificial intelligence, it's intelligent. Intelligence is a lot about asking a question. You know, Isaac Newton, the apple dropped onto his head. If I were him, I would just eat it. But he will ask the question, out of numerously uncountable number of angles, why is it always one angle in this dropping? And what we do is inspire curiosity and offer a solid foundation on using scientific principle to self-learn.
In the age of AI, fundamental question we need to ask is who we are, how we differ from animals, how do we differ from machines. Without asking that kind of question, we may not be able to do better than AI or machines after singularity.
What does it mean to be human? I mean, a CEO who wants to introduce a new technology, somebody can't cope. The easiest thing is to fire that person, or you try to fit him in. But it is like if you have a worker and he's injured, he has a family crisis, do you just write him off, discard him? Or do you somehow use suffering as a way to galvanize people together, to turn it into something positive? So if something threatens you and people feel uncomfortable, a good leader can turn it into a positive experience by pulling people together.
You can have very smart people run very sophisticated data analysis, but if they don't understand what the business is about, and if they don't understand what the strategy of that business is, the output is, even the questions they will be asking will not be the right ones, let alone the output will be interpreted in the correct way.
So what business schools have to do, and I think it is our mission and our calling today, is to change the way that people think.
I believe the most important dimension that will make us successful is the power of imagination and the ability that we have or not have and of being able to attract certain type of talent. There are certain areas where I cannot imagine robots being able to substitute the power of imagination.
The adoption of artificial intelligence and the spread of automation promises to either destroy or transform many jobs and to potentially disrupt already tenuous employment relationships. The World Economic Forum's report on the future of retail noted that automation threatened only over 40% of consumer goods jobs and 20% of retail jobs.
We believe that no more than 10 to 20% of the jobs will be replaced, but it is not a big number. What we believe is that 100% of the jobs in the world will change.
It's always about how do we implement and how do we actually design the thing, and that's where we humans will have the absolute critical role in making the right system, feeding it right and understanding it correctly.
If I sit in a company where just by engaging certain levels of efficiency through technology and all of that, I eliminate thousands of workers' positions in one day, I have a problem, because ultimately we will have a social crisis.
And for us, it's about purpose first, which is to augment human intelligence and not replace human intelligence.
Businesses, companies, organizations will need to come up with solutions to retrain their workforce. And this is, I think, a very important challenge, I would say a very special duty that we all have. At the end of the day, we're trying to see how the use of artificial intelligence can help us build companies that are more human.
As the tools become more powerful, the reflections around how it should be used, where and why, become even more important questions. And I would argue that we've seen that in many ways the role of management, the role of what is being done in companies and organizations, if anything, is more important